Mrs. Malati Karthikeyan is an accomplished educator with an MA and Master of Education in Education from Nisi College of Education, Chennai. She has held leadership roles, including captain of the economics department and vice principal of a CBSE school. Awarded Best Learning Moments Creator by Cambridge University, she is also certified in primary classroom teaching and phonics training. With over a decade of experience, she is currently an early years consultant in Chennai, dedicated to enhancing early childhood education. Hearty welcome, Ms. Malati. Please proceed.
A very good evening, everyone. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah.
Very good evening, everyone. Greetings from Extra Mile Education and Training. Extra Mile is an exclusive platform created by the founder of BTAC, Dr. Abdul Salam, for providing online-offline training, having a pool of resource persons. Extra Mile is resourceful to provide on-site training on demand across India. Before we begin, I would like to extend my gratitude to Dr. Abdul Salam and Extra Mile Education and Training for giving me this wonderful opportunity. A hearty welcome to all the participants as we will embark together on this fruitful journey in this session focusing on the optimizing English language preparation to excel in 2025 board exams for the students. Continuing with this plethora of endeavors, BTAG and the Extra Mile Education and Training, along with its remarkably talented resource person, Ms. Mallika Sen, Principal of Narayana School, Durgapur, West Bengal, will seek to provide valuable input in this session. Yes, regarding our session, as an educator, one of our primary responsibilities is to equip the students with the skills and strategies needed to excel in their board exams. And the English language plays a critical role in this. So for teachers, this means finding a ways to optimize the preparation process to ensure the students are both confident and well prepared. So in this teacher training program, we will explore the effective methods of optimizing the preparation of the English language to help the students to achieve their, to achieve their best performance. Together, we can make a significant impact on the success in the 2025 board exams. So before we begin with today's sessions, I would like to deliver the general instruction to all the participants here. Any query during the sessions, you can be conveyed through the chat box. And in order to have an interactive experience, you may clear your doubts by asking your questions. Kindly use the virtual hand raise button and wait for your turn to be called. And the participants will have the opportunity to receive the certificate only after filling up the certificate and feedback form. This link for the forms will be shared at the end of the session. So kindly stay connected till the end of the session. So now let me introduce our esteemed speakers for the evening. It's my privilege to introduce Dr. Abdul Salam sir, a renowned CBSE resource person and a master trainer who has played a significant role in the education sector as an assessor for the National Aggregation Board for Education and Training under the Government of India. Dr. Salam is the founder and CEO of Extra Mile Education and Training and Transformers Academic Group. Sir, it is indeed a pleasure to have your gracious presence. I kindly invite you to deliver the welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Ms. Mallika and all who have gathered. And hearty welcome, Mallika ma'am, after a long time on our platform. Mallika ma'am has given a lot of sessions for us, which have helped a lot for the English teachers. And again, she has offered this particular session because, as everybody knows, it is time that exam is going to grip all the children and students, we understand that more tends to have the teachers than the students. And this session is definitely going to give a lot of tips for teachers as well as students to prepare very well and effectively for the upcoming exams. Let us not be panic about any kind of concepts or whatever that is going to come for the examination. Let us listen to Mallika ma'am. She has prepared a lot of tips for how to prepare very well in the examination and with confidence. So thank you so much, Mallika ma'am, for offering this session. And thank you so much, all teachers, all educators, students who have joined. Let us make use of these takeaways and let us prepare very confidently. One announcement is that we are going to recognize exceptional teachers, educators from the teaching community, for which we are going to conduct a mega quiz, international quiz program based on NEP, teaching aptitude, and child development and psychology. So we have started the registration. This will happen next month on 24th, and I will be posting the link here. Those teachers who have not joined, please join. Let us make it a very good opportunity, and let us be recognized, because we are all knowledgeable and we are all experienced educators. So let us come to the front, to the limelight. That is our mission, to bring all the educators to the limelight, to discover the talents. So please join us, and all the very best. Have a very enjoyable evening. Over to Maladi ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Salam sir, for the warm introduction and setting the stage for today's discussions. Ladies and gentlemen, I must ask, we also have Mr. Vijay S. Pillai. He is the co-founder of BTAC and has a vast experience in the field of education in many capacities, including being the principal of many reputed CBSE schools. So we are honored to have your gracious presence amidst us. I request Mr. Vijay Pillai, sir, to felicitate the gathering with his kind words. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Maladi ma'am. Wonderful evening to all. Most respected Program Director Dr. Abdul Salam sir, today's resource person Mallika Sen ma'am, then today's moderator Malati ma'am, and all other respected educators in this extra mile platform. As every time we are coming with a new topic, it's almost approaching to the exam time, and almost all the teachers might be a little bit excited, especially the group of schools, like many branches will be there for some of the major top areas. So those teachers will be having some sort of competitions. So here, as students are more concentrating towards the subjects like maths, science and all, gifted students will be having equal importance to all, because they all will be looking towards seldoms in almost all the subjects. So in which all ways we can concentrate more on the subject English, and which all are the areas where we can concentrate to score, for example, the first one word questions and all, how we can come across, how to give more importance, how to see the unknown passages. So today we have our well-experienced Mallika Sen, who can explain it more elaborately, so that all the teachers will be getting more confidence to approach their students and coach them well, so that they all will succeed in their coming 2025 board examination well, and they will prepare and they will succeed in a very good manner. So once again, welcome all to this platform. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you, Malati ma'am.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words. Dear educators, It's my great pleasure to introduce a truly remarkable educator and leader who has made a significant impact in the field of education. We are honored to have with us today Ms. Mallika Sen, the principal of Narayana School, Durgapur, West Bengal. Mrs. Mallika Sen is not just a leader, but a passionate educator with an unwavering commitment to bringing positive change and development to both learners and educators. With over 16 years of experience, she has become a beacon of inspiration in the academic unit and community, known for her dedication, strong leadership skills, and ability to foster the teamwork. Mrs. Sen's academic credentials include an MA in English, an MA in Education, a B.Ed, and she is currently pursuing a postgraduate diploma in school leadership and management and certification in international teaching from the University of Cambridge. In her current role as a principal of Narayana School, Durgapur, she has led the institution with a vision and excellence. She is a CBSE Bharat Sahodaya Master Trainer, an All India Educators Forum Master Trainer, and a BTEC Certified Moderator, guiding many educators through her training sessions, both in online and offline. Her work extends beyond her school, and as she has served a CBSE evaluator, and also she has an assistant head examiner. She is also respected examiner for national level competitions such as the Inter-School Spelling Bee. Her contributions have not gone unnoticed. Mrs. Sen was awarded the title of Extra Mile Educator by CBSE Bharat Sahodaya in 2022 and was recognized as the best teacher at the Guru Award ceremony by Brain World. Her multifaceted interest and dedications to the education make her a true role model for students and fellow educators alike. We are truly fortunate to have Ms. Mallika Sen with us as speaker for today's session of Optimizing English Language Preparation to Excel in 2025 board exams. And I'm confident that her insights and experience will inspire us all. Please join me in giving her a warm welcome with a virtual clap. I'm requesting you to take over the proceedings for you, ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Malti ma'am. That was a lovely introduction. And I mean, when you said 16 years, I felt like it's just 6 months that I'm in this profession. There are so many things which we still need to learn. And I feel there's no ending for learning process. So thank you so much for this introduction. Thank you, Salam sir, Biju sir, for giving me this opportunity once again. After a long time, we are meeting. And thanks a lot. Good evening to everyone present here. My dear educators as well as students in this session where we are going to optimize the English preparation so that you can do excellent in your board exams 2025. As you know that CBSE had already released the sample question papers for all the subjects. Along with that, CBSE had also released lots of additional practice question papers as well as question bank. So keep following that. And with this note, and with your permission, sir, can I share the screen?
Yes, please. All the best, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Malti ma'am, is it visible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Visible, ma'am.
Thank you. So as you can see that on the screen, there are a few questions. You might be thinking why I'm asking questions here on this particular platform. These type of questions usually, our students ask us. So my dear participants, these questions that what will happen if the paper is too tough, or if I do not remember the answers at that particular time, or what if I'm not able to finish the paper on time. So these type of questions, let me know how many of you have faced or you also feel the same. You can just write yes or no. or any other questions that raises in your mind when you're preparing for your exams or sitting in the exam hall. I mean, we go blank, such a huge syllabus, so many chapters, so many poetries, poetic devices, how to remember the characters, such type of questions do come in our mind, right? So I can see in the chat box, please write if you face, how to make sure that this type of stress doesn't affect you. So how many of you have faced these type of questions or has come up with these type of questions before the exams? Malti ma'am, could you help me by seeing the chat box? Because
Yes, ma'am.
cannot see.
All the participants are giving the yes, poetic devices. Yes, for grade 12, they
Yeah.
are facing these problems.
Yeah, okay.
Grade 12, Massive Oppo F7. Please enter your name while you're entering this window. Please log in with your name so that we can call up Simran ma'am. So case-based comprehensive passage. So that is also they are answering, ma'am, most of the participants. And then yes, for grade 12th and 10th, they are facing the reading comprehensions.
Okay.
Yes, thank you all participants.
Thank you for your answers. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Now, if I move on to the next slide that you can see that which one do we want to face? Is it the first picture or the second picture? Obviously, as educators, we have to make our students feel confident when they are sitting for their exams in the boards, right? And we have to take them from picture 1 to picture 2. This journey, we have to be the facilitators. So let's begin the session on this note with the next slide, where we have to, right now, we have only 3 months in our hand. That is November, December, and January, although in January a practical start, and February the exam starts. So in these 3 months, let's start our process, last minute preparation. Let's start revising, let's start analyzing, let's have a proper plan and keep practicing. And I'm sure that everyone will definitely get the success. With this, let's begin with the first two, classes, that is 10th and 12th, where we will first discuss about language and literature, that is paper 184, and then we are going to discuss about English core for class 12, that is paper 301. As you all know that both the papers are divided into 3 segments, that is, or sections, that is A, B, and C. All of you are aware about it. For class 10, you know that we have reading skills, we have grammar, writing skill, as well as literature. And for class 12, we have reading skill, writing we have, grammar we don't have. And then apart from that, we have literature section as well. Now let's find out section-wise, section A, that is reading, section B, that is writing skill and grammar, and section C, that is literature, step by step, how to solve and how to score the maximum marks in boards. So let's start with the first section, that is unseen passages. Children and educators, the first thing that we need to know, yes, ma'am.
Here you have displayed the screen as comprehension, ma'am. Is it correct slide?
Just
you just check it, ma'am. Yeah.
Is it okay, ma'am?
You just tell me, ma'am, what is, yes, now it's correct.
Okay. So when we talk about passages, there are 2 types of passages. Usually CBSE gives in the question paper.
Still, it is a descriptive passage. Correct, ma'am?
Discursive. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, discursive passage. Correct.
Yeah. So there are 2 types of passages, that is discursive and as well as case-based factual passage. So let us understand that what type of passages we get in discursive. That is question number 1. Here you will see that there is a transition of thoughts, okay, moving from one particular thought to another. And usually it is an extract taken from maybe an article or maybe from a magazine or a short story. And the thought process here is the range is quite wide. And the topics that usually are taken is contemporary topics or maybe cultural or social. These type of discursive passages, they usually have a topic which may be argumentative, it may be persuading, it may be interpretative in general, right? Thoughts and comments may be included as well. So children, what you have to do, and educators as well, that you have to teach your children that how to read this passage, how to reason out what is the theme into that, and how to find out the answers. So this is the first part of the question paper, that is question number 1, where we are getting an unseen passage. The second question moves on with the factual passage, and it is comparatively shorter than the first one. So having 200 to 250 words maximum in length. And here you will get a lot of description as well as clear explanation of particular characteristics, or it may be having some statistics, some data, some picture-based or visual-based questions, as well as cues. And based on that information, you have to solve the questions related to that particular passage. Now, how to answer, what to do in case of these two passages, because these two passages, most of the time, the students get confused with various types of questions that are given in that. This time, CBSE had not given any choice-based question in question number 1 and 2. If you have seen the sample question paper, you will see that exactly like for class 12, if I take class 12, then we have 12 marks in the first question and 10 marks in the second question. But there are no extra questions given. So children, you have to be and as well as educators, you have to tell your students that they have to be very careful while they are attempting each and every answer here. Right? So if it is a 1 marker question where MCQs are there, or true, false, or fill in the blanks, there is no option of any midway marks or half marks like that. If they are not writing the correct answer, they are losing 1 mark from this particular segment of the question paper. So a lot of practice is required. Usually what we see, we most of the time focus on the literature section. We as English educators in the class, we love to take literature classes comparatively than grammar or writing skill or even unseen passages. But, this particular segment will definitely make our students confident when they will be sitting for the exams, because here they can score a lot. So the first thing what they need to do, any type of passages when it is given during the reading time, 15 minutes, please utilize it. Please do utilize it and ask them to read the passage carefully and with a lot of attention, instead of getting distracted in the exam hall or whenever they are sitting for the exams. They need to find out the concrete words to get the theme of the passage. Because this is an unseen passage, they don't know what type of passages will be given to them. Obviously, it will be age appropriate, but then they need to find out what is the theme. They have to write a very precise answer. 1 marker, 2 marker maximum. So they have to write the answer precisely, not to waste too much time in each and every answer. And most importantly, they should not copy and write from the paragraph. The answer should be written in their own words. So please ask your students to, summarize it, write it in short, use their own words, and focus on the main idea given in the passage. So that's my suggestion to all of you, that let them practice whenever they are practicing in the class. Let the students take their time. I suggest my students usually within 45 minutes to 1 hour, they should finish. Because my suggestion to all my students and as educators is, if we have a 3 hours paper, my paper should be finishing within 2 hours, 45 minutes. Last 15 minutes should be kept for revision. So in that case, if the child is practicing a lot, in 45 minutes, they can finish the section A. So for that, they need a lot of practice, and at least they should have this habit of reading, which is losing out somewhere. Children, they are, somewhere they are not very, they are reluctant to read the chapters also in the syllabus. They feel like English, we will read before 2 days or 3 days of the exam. We'll sit with the textbook, we'll read, and we are ready for it. But on the other hand, we have the reading passage also. So reading habit, somewhere we are losing from our students. We have to bring them in the class, make them practice rigorously. If required, educators, you read the passage loudly, let them follow the lines, and then let them solve the question in the class whenever they are practicing. So first time you can just go through it, which in a technical term is called skimming the whole passage. And the second time when they are reading, they should scan the passage and try to find out the answers of the question from that particular part only, from where the answer is. Not to read continuously. Like if I have 12 questions, I'll be reading 12 times the passage. I will lose out my time. So they should be reading thoroughly, try to comprehend, try to analyze, and then write the correct answer. I'll also give a tip how to solve the MCQs also after this. Okay, the first important thing is they should read the questions also. They should read the passage properly, find out the central theme, and do not skip any particular part of the passage. They should not skip any part. That, okay, this part is not required and no answer is here. Might be the next answer is linked to that particular part of the passage. And what are the rules we should follow, or what competencies CBSE is looking for? The competencies are how good the child is in his analytical skills, in his understanding skills, in his interpretation skills, comprehending skills, whether the child can infer to the passage and find out the answer, and whether the child can decode it also. Right now, decoding means it is written, the author or the writer who has written that particular passage, it is their language, how they have presented it. But when the answers are being written by the students, it should be written in their own words after understanding the whole passage thoroughly.
Excuse me, ma'am. Malika,
Yes.
ma'am, one of the participants has raised the query stating that students are generally confused with oxymoron and anesthetic. So how to clear this, ma'am?
Ma'am, I will go to that poetic devices part. We have various slides on poetic devices.
Okay.
So my request to the participant, you please wait for that part. I will definitely come to this question with the answer.
Yes. Participants, please wait. Once ma'am have completed, you can type all your queries. Ma'am will answer one by one.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. So should I move ahead?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. So with this, we come to the end of section A, and whatever tips I felt like. Still, if you have any questions, any doubts, definitely we will talk at the end of the session. And moving on to section B, where we are having writing skill. There are various topics, and the marks revision also, it's given there. I know that educators have already practiced a lot in this session. So the marks division, as you can see on the screen format, we have 1 content, we have 2 marks. Now, what is CBSE asking in the content? In the content, they are asking suggestions, importance, implication, as well as recommendation, depending on the writing skill that they are attempting. Next 1 mark is for organization of the ideas, means how good the child is to bring or develop his ideas in an organized way or in an effective way, and how he is preparing that layout on that particular answer sheet. That's very, very important. Whether the content is structured, whether it is properly organized, information is relevant to the topic, and whether it is written in a particular paragraph structure as instructed, depending on the topic, what they're writing. So all these things, all these points, the tenses, the tone, the vocabulary, all these points come under organization of ideas. And lastly, accuracy depends on the spelling, punctuation, as well as grammar. So these are the rubrics on which the score will be given to the child. Now let's have a look on the topics for class 12 and 10 writing skill. Class 12, we have 18 marks this time, when last year also we had the same thing. And notice writing consists of 50 words carrying 4 marks. We have invitation, formal as well as informal, along with that replies. Okay, this is also a short writing task of 4 marks. Children, let me tell you, and educators, that notice and invitation is a compulsory writing skill topic. So there is no way of, making a choice that I will not write this. You have to write a notice. Maybe options will be given to between 2, 1 you have to attempt, but notice you have to write, invitation you have to write. That means 8 marks easily you can score. Easily, right? If you are practicing a lot, within 50 words, the proper format, proper tone, and relevant to the topic, 8 marks easily you can score confidently, right? When it comes to formal and informal, in case of formal invitation, it should be in the card format. It should be written at the center of the page. We can have another session on writing skill if sir allows in details how to write it and how to score maximum only in writing skill. So for that, practice is definitely required. And along with that, replies. And if it is an informal one, then it should be written in a letter format. As we normally write a letter, informal letter, in that same format we have to write. So please be sure that notice and invitation practice should be done maximum in the class because they cannot skip this question. Moving on to the next topic, that is formal letter or a job application. In this question, they have to attempt any one. Whichever the child is confident, you ask that child to prepare that for the exams. So in case of formal letter, they are already doing it since I think class 5, how to write a formal letter, letter to the editor, or letter to the manager, or letter to a corporate head, whatever it is. Let's in the topics which we have in the market right now, it can be any kind of letter, not only letter to the editor, formal letter. And job application, make sure that they're writing a letter, cover letter, along with that the details or the biodata or the resume or the CV as we talk about, and how to write that CV also, what will be in the first part and what will be how you will end that CV. So both the things are attached with the job application, which takes a lot of time, but definitely with practice, if the child is confident, they can go for job application also. Fourth question is article or report writing in writing skill. Here also they will get a choice. Either they can appear for an article or maybe a report. Both the long writing task, you have 120 to 150 words and carrying 5 marks, right? So these are the topics for class 12 English core. If we move to class 10, then we have only 2 topics here, analytical paragraph and formal letters. In case of analytical paragraph, there is no marks for format. We have only in the content and the expression, where organization and accuracy is also there. We don't have any marks for analytical paragraph because we do not write any title or heading for that. In case of formal letters, we do have, that is 1 plus 2 and then 1 plus 1. So these are the topics for class 10th and 12th writing skill. Moving on to the grammar section, that is the next part, which is only for class 10, not for class 12. These are the topics as suggested by CBSE. I hope that everybody had already completed their syllabus by now. And now it's only practice time. So these are the topics which more and more practice required. We have determiners, tenses, modal, subject, verb, and reported speech. So a lot of practice, mostly MCQ based questions will be given. Fill in the gaps are there, error correction and transformation of sentences. And the weightage for this grammar section for class 10 is 10 marks, which is very, very scoring as well. Children can easily and confidently score 10 out of 10 over here, right? Moving on to the literature section. Now in literature section, as you know, it is of 40 marks for class 10. And here, you will be getting extract based question where you have to identify maybe the dramatist, or maybe you have to read the extract carefully, find out the key concept, the key words, the theme of the particular lesson or the poem or the play. Okay, these type of questions. Then we have short answer type questions where 2 markers and 3 markers questions will be there. And here you have to comprehend the ideas of that particular lesson. You have to write the answer in proper sequence. And along with that, you have to develop your own ideas. Now, when we talk about developing our own ideas, it is all about competencies. As you know, CBSE is focusing on competency-based questions as CBQ. This term I know everybody knows by now. So what are these competencies? Here, the child they have to analyze, they have to compare, they have to contrast, they have to create their maybe own ending of a particular chapter, how they look into the character, or if you are there in that particular situation, how would you react? Okay, there are various chapters which we will also discuss after this. Okay, and along with that, we have long answer type questions also, where we have 6 markers, 5 markers questions, where mostly we are focusing on the theme, the turning point, the characteristic of the characters, the students' viewpoints, how they look into the story, their understanding, and how they relate to their day-to-day life. That's what we know as experiential learning. So these are some of the suggestions related to literature section. And if we look into the rubrics, that how it is divided, the answers, the marks, that how you're going to get the marks. Then for a 2 markers question for class 12, we have 1 mark for content and 1 mark for expression. And the word limit is 40 to 50 words. And for a 5 marker question, you have 2 marks for content, 2 for expression, and 1 for accuracy. And in expression only, we get the organization skills as well. And this answer should be written within 120 to 150 words. Coming to class 10 also we have a short question, but the weightage is 3 marks. Here we have 2 and 1. The division is 2 and 1, 40 to 50 words. And the long question answers, it's between 100 to 120 words. It's a 6-marker question where it is again divided between content, expression, and accuracy. As I said, in expression, we have the organization skill as well. Right? So the next slide that you see on the screen is all about reading skill, that is 26 marks, writing skill of 23 marks, grammar and writing skill, and literature for 31 marks. This is for class 11. So for class 11, I have also kept this in this particular presentation, because class 11 also, they will be having their finals very soon. So we are going to have the question paper as per the CBSE format. So CBSE is asking for reading skill 26, writing and grammar 23, and 31 for literature. And these are some of the competencies that we should be looking for when we are setting a question paper. Right? As I've already told in the beginning of the session, that we have to find out in case of reading passages, whether the child can interpret, can analyze, can infer, they can understand the concepts, and they can write their own answers or not. Please look for that. In case of grammar and writing skill, these are the competencies that CBSE is asking the educators to train their students accordingly, because we are preparing them for class 12. So it will be easy for them in class 12. And in case of literature, they need to recall, they need to reason it out, they need to appreciate, okay, they need to analyze. And yes, critical thinking is very, very important in case of literature section, where you will not get any direct questions. You have to think and write, right? So this is for grade 11 English Core 2024-25, where you can see the marks division for a question paper. So these are the 26 marks divided in 10, 8, and 8, because we have note making and summarizing as well. And along with that, we have grammar and writing skill, which is of 23 marks. And we have section C, literature, of 31 marks. Along with that, internal assessment of 20 marks. So I know that everybody knows the paper pattern. So please train your students accordingly. And this is the syllabus for class 11. Moving on to the next slide, that is class 12. Now for class 12, as I said, 22 marks, that is 12 plus 10 divided between two unseen passages. Then we have creative writing skill, where you will get 2 short writing tasks of 4 and 4 marks and 2 long writing tasks of 10 marks. Along with that, literature section of 40 marks, where you will be having extract-based questions, short questions, and long question answers. The same competencies remain as it is for class 11 for 12th as well. There are no changes in the competencies. And this is the question paper pattern for class 12. Malti ma'am, I hope it is visible, because this is a little bit stretched up, the picture.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's visible.
Yeah. So as you can see that 12 marks for the first passage, and then we have case-based passage where verbal and visual inputs will be given, or any data will be given, of 10 marks. Along with that, notice, formal and informal invitation for 4 marks. The same thing, whatever I have explained in the first few slides. And these are the literature section, where you can see choices are given. Extract-based question will be from poetry and from Flamingo. Then we have vistas. Then again, you will be getting prose questions, prose-based questions from Flamingo. And then we have short question answers of 5 questions you have to attempt out of 6, each carrying 2 marks, 40 to 50 words. And this can be a mixed question from both poetry as well as prose of 10 marks. So you have only one choice, one question. Extra is given here in question number 10. Total 13 questions will be there in your question paper for class 12. Along with that, short answers from vistas also, where 3 questions will be there, 2 you have to attempt, and long question answer of 1 out of 2 from Flamingo as well as vistas, 5 marks. And apart from that, 20 marks. I hope you have already practiced your listening and speaking skills, because that is also very important. Along with that, project work as well as Viva. So by now, till November, usually we give the time to the students to finish their projects, and the evaluation also starts. Okay. So, and yeah, Viva should be based on the project work that they have completed. All the details are definitely there in the CBSE website as well. And these are the chapters or the syllabus for class 12, which we have already completed, I know.
Yes, ma'am. This is the last slide, ma'am. Shall we
No, ma'am, just a second.
this thing?
It's frozen. Yes. Moving on to class 9.
Fine.
For class 9, as you can see, just class 9, we have reading section of 20, writing skills and grammar of 20, and literature of 40 marks. Competencies, if you have gone through the slides, it's almost the same for class 9 as well as we have looked for class 11 and 12. Only in case of grammar, here you have to find out that whether you can find out the answers or you can structure the answers with accuracy as well as fluency or not. Now moving on to class 10. Class 10, also the same competencies, 20, 20, and 40 is the division for the question paper, and this is the question paper pattern as you can see here. And same again, discursive passage of 10 marks, case-based passage of 10 marks, total 20. In case of grammar, you have to attempt 10 questions out of 12, where you'll be getting gap filling, editing or omission, as well as reordering and transformation. So 4, 4, 8, and 2, 10 marks, and you'll be having 2 writing skill, although choices will be there definitely, and 5, 5, 10 marks, so 20 marks for your grammar and creative writing skill. Coming to literature section, you will be having 2 extract-based questions of 5 marks each. Okay, short answers you have to write of 40 to 50 words, carrying 12 marks from first flight. And from footprints without feet, here also you have to attempt 2 questions out of 3, that is of 6 marks. And 2 long question answer you have to attempt of 6 marks each from both the books, first flight as well as footprints without feet. So this is a question paper pattern for the board this year. Along with that, the internal assessment is divided into 4 divisions of 5, 5 marks each. That is a periodic test or pen and paper test that you have been conducting in the school. Along with that, multiple assessments where throughout the year, whatever oral test or observation or any discussions or any kind of visual representation you have conducted in the class. Portfolio consists of their projects, a classwork, notebook, how they are keeping their notebooks. And for subject enrichment activity, obviously creative writing skill, art integrated learning, ALS as well as role play. So this 20 marks will be given by the school as internal assessment. And it's a request to the educators, please do focus on the internal assessment as well. Because there's a, feeling among the students that I will be getting this 20 marks just like that. It shouldn't be. Right, it's an ongoing process throughout the year. Whenever we are doing this type of assessment internally, it is actually preparing them for their main exams. It is making them confident when they are writing their competency-based answers, because this also is related to your main question paper. In this classroom environment, whatever we are doing is definitely also related to the main exams, whatever they are appearing in the boards. Right.
Ma'am, or one of the Deepika is an educator asking that they want to detail about the internal assessment, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am. Then the internal assessment, yeah, we can have another session on this, because internal assessment is a lot of activities we have to do, right? We have role play, we have maybe a street play, or maybe whatever activities they're doing in the assembly, right? Sometimes we have class assemblies where the English teachers can definitely bring the students and assess their speaking skills over there. Right, then maybe speech, whatever, sometimes 15th August, 26th January, they are giving you speeches in the school. That also is a type of assessment, continuous observation. So a class discussion, maybe in the class you have given a topic and you arrange a group discussion, a GD inside the classroom, make small groups and let them discuss and you assess, so that each and every child gets the opportunity to speak. It shouldn't be like once in a, or maybe before the exam, I'm calling and I'm assessing their speaking skills. So it's a continuous process. That is what multiple assessment is. And portfolio, I think it is clear to you. Subject enrichment activities, here you can do assessment of speaking and listening separately. There are lots of listening question papers in the website as well, which you can download and conduct a proper listening skill activity in the class. Children will listen to the paragraphs and they will read the question and solve it within a certain period of time. Creative writing, this can be also like whatever contest, inter-school debate, or maybe a inter-school speech or inter-house role play contest. So all these things, whatever we are doing, comes under internal assessment only, right? Apart from that periodic test, which we cannot do anything, they are giving their tests of 40 marks or 20 marks as per the school format. So that is what is all about internal assessment. But yes, we can have a detailed discussion on this next time. Ma'am, can you see my next slide?
No, ma'am, only grade 10. That mark segregations only we are seeing it, ma'am.
Just a second.
Yes. Can move on to the next slide.
Yes, ma'am. Just a minute. We move on to the next slide. That I know many are here eagerly waiting that why I'm not discussing communicative English as well. Right, because most of the time we have seen English language and literature. I am not sure about it, but English language and literature is mostly taken here. Okay, and other cities as well. But yes, communicative English is also very, very important. Many schools are having here in my city also taking this particular subject, and the subject code is 101. So in this case, if we talk about communicative English, class 9, these are the chapters which the teachers must have taught already, or maybe they're on the last part of the syllabus. So these are the prose, the poetry, and the drama. We have two drama here, Villa for Sale and Bishop's Candlesticks. And these are the poetries that they need to do for class 9, that is paper 101. Here, the division of the marks in the question paper is a bit different. Okay, because here you can see the reading skill is of 20 marks, but writing skill is having a lot of weightage of 24 marks for class 9, right? So in case of writing skill for communicative English, there is a book called MCB. I hope all of you are aware about it. And most of the writing skill topics are related to the theme taken in various chapters in MCB. So apart from literature, you have to do a lot of practice from that book as well, because writing skill topics are usually related, as mentioned there, from the MCB. Grammar, almost the same topics as we have in English language and literature, apart from a few other topics which are added there, and literature section, whatever questions we have. So this is the paper format for class 9, communicative English. Moving on to class 10. Class 10, these are the chapters in prose. That is Two Gentlemen of Verona, Mrs. Packletide's Tiger, The Letter, A Shady Plot, Pottle Babu, and Virtually True. I hope that your syllabus is over by now. And in poetry, we have The Frog and the Nightingale, Not Marble Nor the Gilded Monuments, Ozymandias, Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, and Snake. And we have two drama that we have to complete, that is The Dear Departed and Julius Caesar. So these are the syllabus for class 10 communicative English. And this is a paper format which is there on the screen, where you can see 22 marks reading, 22 marks writing, 10 for grammar, and 26 for literature. As you can see here again, writing skill is having a lot of weightage compared to language and literature, right? We have 22 marks over here, and literature section is of 26 marks only, whereas in case of language and literature, we have 40 marks, right, in literature. So you need to practice a lot for the writing skill topics. I will show the topics also once again to you in the next slide. So these are the topics for English core, which we have already discussed for language and literature. We've already discussed about it. These are the topics for writing skill in class 11. That is advertisement, poster, speech, and debate for English language and literature. These are the topics for writing skill class 10, language and literature, formal letter based on a situation, and analytical paragraph but on a particular chart, graph, or cues. These are the topics, as I said, we need to focus a lot because the weightage on writing skill is quite high in case of communicative English. These are the topics for class 9, language and literature, descriptive paragraph, describing a person or situation or an event, story writing, and diary entry. Only 3 topics we have for class 9. For communicative English, class 10, we have email to school authorities. Now, in case of email, if you have seen the marks division, there is no marks given for format as such. I was going through the sample question paper and the marking scheme where it is mentioned that no marks allotted for format here, right? And what type of topics will be given, that is application for leave, or maybe you want to change your subject or your section or bus timing. So if you see, most of the topics are related to your school level, right? So you don't have to worry or get tensed like email what to write to the school authorities. We have never written any email of any sort like this, but it is all related to daily life. Whatever you write normally in the school, maybe in the letter format, the same thing you have to do it in the email. Only the format will change, the from, to, and the content will, there will be a bit of change over there, but there's no marks for format here. Moving to factual description, this is very easy. Okay, a person or an object, and definitely cues will be given. You have to describe that. Formal letters, this one, as I said, is definitely aligned to the topics which is there in MCB, and articles also based on the topics given in MCB. So these are the topics for writing skill, and as I said just now, that the weightage is quite high for writing skill in communicative English. So my request to all the educators, please do practice a lot for communicative English class 10 with this particular topics. Moving on to class 9, they have also 4 topics. 9 also I have kept here because I hope that 9th standard students are also here and teachers are there. I think they are taking common classes 9th and 10th as well. So in that case, please do practice notice writing, because if in case, they are moving, from communicative English, they are going from that to English core, they will be again writing notice writing in class 12. So here they have to write a notice for maybe a welfare association or any kind of school event, classroom information, etc. Easy. Dialogue writing, the format, all of you are aware that there's a process where the the speaker and the listener, that coordination should be there, that organization should be there, relevancy should be there, and the content should be very precise and to the point, not that extended sentences they are writing in case of dialogue, with a lot of punctuation into it, definitely. Informal letter, definitely content should be very strong. And the last one is paragraph writing based on, again, visual cues aligned with the MCB. In MCB, whatever topics you have, please do it properly. It will be easy for them to write it. When they're doing it in the class, the brainstorming should be done in the class itself, so that the children get an idea that how to write the content in that particular topic. And these are the topics which I have taken out from the book itself. That in class 9 we have very nicely, it has been given in the books also. Okay, and with lots of activities in that, lots of questions, different type of questions, activities, speaking, listening, everything is there in this book. So for class 9, these are the topics: people, adventure, environment, radio, video, show, mystery, children, sports and games. And for class 10, very nicely they have presented this book where we have health and medicine. You can have a lot of discussion on that also. A lot of, I always suggest, have group discussion in the class, ask the students to stand up and speak. Okay, that will give them an idea when they are writing the creative writing topics, okay, in the exam. Have a lot of discussion on the education system, different types of education that we have. Then science, environment, travel and tourism. It's a very topic which is right now everyone is looking for, right? A booming industry in terms of economic growth of our country. And then we have national integration, which we already know that India is known for that. So these topics, MCB, should be taken care of in the class itself in a very serious manner, okay? Not only the literature part. So this will definitely make our students feel confident because when they will be writing a topic in the exam hall, especially communicative English, they will be relating to what type of discussions you had in the class or a teacher had told or others have shared, and that will definitely help them also. Along with that, please suggest them to read books as well based on these particular topics or articles. Okay, so that is just one of my suggestion. Moving on to the next slide. Ma'am, is it visible? Sometimes.
Yes, ma'am.
Stuck.
Next slide, ma'am. Please make it next slide.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it has been changed, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah, I'm coming to the next one. So these are the competencies for communicative English. And you can see these what they are looking for. CBSE is looking for demonstrative knowledge and understanding, where only for communicative English. If you see, it's almost similar to language and literature, because there also we have the the identifying, defining, or comprehending, interpreting, comparing, and contrasting, explanation. These type of questions are there. Okay, so and here also recall questions are there. So demonstrative knowledge and understanding whether the child had understood the whole paper carries 30% weightage of the question paper. In the whole paper I'm talking about, not a particular segment. And conceptual application. That means if a situation is given, whether the child can apply and write an answer based on the knowledge that he had received in the class, right? Or he can interpret a particular situation, or he has this capability to find out a solution for a particular problem. Okay, so these type of questions again comes under competencies. This is also having 35% weightage of the whole paper. And the third part is how they are doing the analysis, evaluation, and how much creative the child is when he is writing any answer, mostly in case of literature. Okay, and how he is joining each and every piece of information or resources, whatever he has read, and synthesizing it, means bringing it to a particular point and writing his own answer in his own words, beautifully designed. This also carries 35% of the whole paper. This is as per 2024-25 CBSE curriculum. From there I've taken out. So as you can see, almost the weightage is same for knowledge and understanding, application, and analysis, evaluation, and creativity. More weightage, 5% is there for application and the last part. So communicative English or language literature, both the subjects or both the curriculum, whichever your school had taken off, what I feel is a lot of role play, is there on the educators, English educators in the classroom. It is not only completing the syllabus, okay, and it is not only just doing the corrections and, telling them you're getting this marks and that marks, why they are losing the marks, where they are losing the marks, how they are going to write the answer to get better in the next exam. That my request to all of you, that all the educators should tell each and every child, bring them to your table and tell them this is the way you should write, and then you will be getting full marks. So somewhere, English should not be taken so lightly, as in the beginning sir has also told, Biju sir has also told, Malati ma'am had also told that English should be taken care of, and it plays a vital role in the overall percentage of a child, right, at the end of the board exams. So I'm moving on to the next slide. Now let us see a few questions which I've picked up from the sample question paper. And I want all the participants here, right? Can you please write some keywords based on the questions that I have picked from the sample question paper? The first one is, in the poems The Frog and the Nightingale and Ozymandias, discuss how the characters' attitudes towards power and influence contribute to their respective outcomes. Ma'am, if anyone wants to speak and answer this,
Participants,
most
please
welcome.
give the virtual raise hand so that we will make you to unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am. Not
Please.
in details. Yeah.
No one have raised. Share your feedback. Share your keywords in the chat box at least.
I'll let them doing right now, right? That The Frog and the Nightingale and Ozymandias, understand the question, discuss how the characters' attitudes towards power and influence contribute to their respective outcomes. So if we have
yes, participants' answers in the chat box, ma'am.
Okay. What are they writing?
Given a keyword as arrogant, proud, pride, Asif Hussain.
Yes, ma'am.
They have given, two people have given the reply in the chat box, ma'am.
Okay. I think it's
Others
difficult.
are just thinking about what to give.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, not a cup of tea for everyone, right? When we get this type of questions, see, answer is very easy. You know, the question, the way it is framed, it looks very difficult. But when we move on, if I try to recollect Frog and the Nightingale, what happened in that particular poetry and how the frog, you know, became the winner in a negative way, right? Okay, where he became a friend of the Nightingale. He gave the Nightingale a lot of suggestions. He pretended to be his friend or her friend, and then finally the Nightingale dies. On the other hand, when we see Ozymandias, once a proud king and all, and how he was lying, the broken statue in half statue is inside the sand. What I recollect that picture, right? In the book, if we can remember all these things, the question is asking how the characters, we need to know the characters first, how their attitude towards power and influence are contributing to their respective outcome. Outcome means what was the outcome? Obviously, it was a negative outcome, right? If we talk about the frog and the nightingale, there also we have a negative outcome. And if we talk about Ozymandias, there also we see the same thing, that ultimately all his pride, you know, about his power, the way he used to dominate the society, everything comes to a negative end. So this part you have to describe here in your own words, discuss here in your own words. So what you have to do, you have to synthesize the answer, right? It's an 8-marker question where you have to write a bit about the first poetry, bit about the second one, both the topics taken together, synthesize and bring to one point, because somewhere there is similarity between both the poetries, right? That is what CBSE is looking for. Please do not write the whole poetry, what is happening in this and what is happening in that. Use your own thoughts and ideas, your opinion, your feelings, what you felt. And this can come only when our teachers and educators had a lot of discussion in the class, apart from just reading the poetry and finding out the poetic devices and rhyme scheme and doing the questions from the book. There should be a lot of brainstorming and discussion in the class to write these type of answers, right? Okay, let's move on to the next question. Interpret imagery and symbolism in the, okay, let me ask us a very simple question. Who is the poet in the chat box? Can you please write Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner? I think that's an easy question. Poet of the Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner.
Answers, we can be able to see a lot of answers. Chloride.
The number is increasing. Good going.
Chloride. Rudyard Kipling, S.T. Chloride, Samuel Taylor.
Coleridge.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
I know everyone will get this answer correct, right? Now let's move on to the difficult part of this slide. That is, interpret the imagery and symbolism. Here we come to the poetic devices. As many of you are waiting for it, I know we will have that in the next part of this presentation. So imagery and symbolism in the Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner as elements that contribute to the poem's overarching themes of retribution and redemption. Now, you see, the question is, I mean, having so many difficult words and vocabulary and seeing this question, the child will feel, oh my God, how many marks it is carrying? Only 2.
2.
What I will write 2 marks in such a big question, right? My answer is of 40 to 50 words and the question is so big. But then again, we have to recall, reflect, interpret, and refer to that particular poem, that what is it exactly asking? 40 to 50 words is not an easy task to write, right? This answer. So it is, the question is, interpret the imagery and symbolism that is used in this particular poem, and that is an element that contribute to the overarching themes of retribution and redemption. Now, the Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner is talking about the mariner in that particular ship, we can say, right? And what was his relation and how the, you know, it is like a story. The poem is actually like a story, how it is moving on. And when we are reading it, what kind of imagination, what kind of symbolism both the characters in the poem are playing, right? You have to just interpret. You have to write your own words, that I feel retribution, redemption, whatever it is, the ancient mariner, how he's looking into here. Rhyme, obviously, whatever, you know, the song and all, whatever is happening and the sailors and how they're reacting and what they did with the bird. So all these things, keeping it in mind, what you felt, how you interpreted, that answer is required in 40 to 50 words, right? Moving on to the next question. This is also a question from sample question paper itself. Like, evaluate how the letter, the story, the prose letter by Dhoomketu portrays the impact of separation on human emotions. You have to evaluate that how this story portrays or picturizes or, presents to you, simple word, the impact of separation. He was separated from, can you tell me in this letter, who is the main character in the chat box? Dhumketu is a writer. What was the name of the main character and for whom he was waiting? Whose letter he was waiting for?
Ali.
Yeah, absolutely. And what was his profession?
Oh, that they didn't mention is hunter.
Okay.
And
The first who is answering, can you please tell me his or her name?
Asif.
Okay.
Asif Hussain.
Clap for Asif, sir.
Yes, I have given in the virtual chat box itself. I've given.
Quite active, yeah.
Yes.
So, yes. And whose letter he was waiting for in this particular story? And with whom he got separated?
Daughter.
Same, right? So it is portraying the impact of separation on human emotions. I think this one is an easy question. Okay, children can definitely write it that when we get separated from our loved ones or we wait for somebody, what type of emotions we have or what type of feelings we go through, right? Which cannot be expressed in words, right? So we can't express, but then the children have to write somewhere, each and every chapter of literature or the way it is designed, the curriculum, it's all talking about life skills again. English without life skill is not possible. Each and every chapter, whether it is language, literature, or communicative English, there is a lot of discussion on the life skills. We are here to build their emotional skills, right? Their social skills, their spiritual skills. A lot of things are there. So this answer is easy for the children, I know. Moving on to the next one, that is from language and literature. Both the texts for Anne Gregory and the Sermon at Benares grapple with the idea that external attributes are fleeting and subject to decay. I read the question again. Both the text, Anne Gregory and Sermon at Benares, grapple with the idea that external attributes are fleeting and subject to decay. Right? You have to find the similarities. This is a 6-marker question, and from both the chapters, you have to, one is a poem and one is a prose, you have to find out what are the similarities, whether they are actually talking about the fleeting attributes, human attributes, external attributes, whether they are talking about that, yes, they do decay, right? Because in Sermon at Benares, what is it talking about? Can anybody answer?
Yeah, ma'am. The one of the participants has answered that external beauty is not important. It gets destroyed by the passage of time. Some Benares tells the death is inevitable. So worldly things are not permanent. Inward beauty is a permanent.
Okay, yes, absolutely correct answer. So I think a lot of language literature teachers are here, those who are, taking this, giving these answers. Yes, absolutely correct, right? That everything here is what we say is mortal, right? It is mortal. We cannot accept death. We know birth is always a happy moment, but death cannot be, right? But in both these things, we can see that death is inevitable and we have to accept it, right? So here you have to find out the similarities between both the texts. And if you're not sure, if you're not ready, then you cannot write it. And here again lies the role of the educators in the classroom to bring the answers from the students, not what you are telling. Let them think, let them go through the journey of each and every chapter. Let them have deep understanding of the lessons and let them answer in the class itself, right? And the last question that I have picked up, that is evaluate how James Herriot's characterization contributes significantly to the overarching theme of responsible pet ownership and animal welfare. Can you tell me, James Herriot, this is from which lesson? This question is from which lesson? This is also in the sample question paper.
From Trump of surgery.
Yeah. right?
Many of them have answered, ma'am. We have to give a round of applause to them.
Crimes of surgery, right? James Herriot, Dr. James Herriot. And here it is again talking about theme of responsible pet ownership and animal welfare. A lot of things the children can write, right? They can have their own ideas. They can talk about their the how we can be responsible towards pet. And this chapter also, one more question I'm going to ask you, which is not there on the screen to all the participants. Can you relate this chapter with any other lesson of English language literature class 10? Where we are again talking about pet ownership.
Which bill the author?
Absolutely. Who's the first one to answer? Clap for.
Nizamuddin, Devendra. Most of them are running. The answers are filled with the chat box, ma'am.
Very good, very good. So, see, we are already into the brainstorming session, right? We are relating, we are recalling, and I know now the chapters and the characters are there in front of your eyes in the session, right? This is what the students should also feel, right? When you are doing this in the class, the students should also have that curiosity, that eagerness to give the answers to you. The moment they are giving the answers and they are, raising, the whole class is raising their hand and they're eager to give, your job is already done. They are ready for the exams, right? So this type of sessions definitely you can conduct. You can pick 4 or 5 questions and let the answers be given by the students itself in the class. Moving on to the next slide. Just a second.
Next slide, me.
Yes, ma'am. Just a minute.
Okay.
Yeah. Moving to the next slide. Now, 10th standard. Sorry. Just
+2. That's in 12th.
no. I mean, I have another slide with questions.
Participant is waiting, ma'am. They are asking, can we move on to class 12, please?
Yeah, we have here, right? 12th.
Waiting
The
for
next slide. Yes. So it's there. So here you can see questions at a glance for class 12. The influence of belief in traditions such as religion, family bonds, or patriotism can be used to develop narrative techniques like setting, motivation, sources of conflict, and pacing. Analyze how the writer has incorporated such influences to good effect in the story, The Enemy. You have to support your answer with valid textual evidence. To understand the question, it's a 5-marker question, long question answer. First, you need to understand the question, read it thoroughly, right? That what is it asking for? 12th standard answer should be to that level. You're going to a college. So your answer's quality should be like that. Vocabulary should be very strong, nicely organized and expressed. What is it talking about? It is talking about the chapter, The Enemy. First, you need to find out which lesson is it. Then you need to recall what is the theme of that chapter, The Enemy. Who are the characters? The moment you can recall that, you can get the answer easily. Right? So when we talk about the enemy, can the participants please write in the chat box who are the main characters in this particular lesson?
Participants, over to you. Who are the enemies in this character?
Enemies are actually, Malti ma'am, not there. No enemies are there in this lesson. They both are friends, But the society has divided. Yeah.
The General Hakima.
Hannah,
Sadao and Hannah.
Yeah, Hannah, Dr. Sadao, and
Dr. Sadao, Dr. Hannah.
And who is considered to be the enemy? That's the most important that ma'am asked just now. That who is the enemy?
Yes.
Who's that enemy here? We are friends over here, but I want the answer that who's that enemy in that lesson?
He answers in the chat box, ma'am. American soldier, prisoner of war, American Navy man.
American soldier, prisoner of war. Absolutely correct. Can you tell the name? The name is there in the chapter also.
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am. Most of them have answered. 1 second.
The character's name.
Yes, ma'am. Character name if we want. Tom.
Okay.
They're giving a Tom.
Who is the first one to write the answer?
The Tom, Jyoti Kaushik.
Very good. Very good. Because this is how what is called, yes, deep understanding of the chapter, running between, you thorough with the extrapolation, as we say, right? From the text and beyond the text. right? So we have the American soldier or prisoner of war. Then we have Dr. Satao, Hannah, and many other characters. Now here you have to see how the writer is incorporating these type of influences with a good effect in the story. Maybe the name of the story is enemy, but the effect of the story is not a negative one. It's not, a pessimistic ending. It is having an optimistic ending in the story. So that's what you have to find out, that whatever traditional belief we have, when we divide the world in terms of religion, when we divide, we fight amongst yourself in the family for many minor reasons, right? Or when we talk about patriotism, that I am from this country, I'm from that country, all these things, is it somewhere affecting the technique or narrative technique in the setting, motivation, and conflict in this particular lesson? No. Ultimately, what is winning? Can anyone give me in 2 words that the whole story writer is focusing on all this, but who is the winner? Which emotion is the winner in this particular chapter? And that's the answer you have to write with valid evidence. Which emotion is winning finally? What is that conflict?
Humanity, love.
Yes.
Humanity, love, they have answered.
Humanity.
Again, the Jyoti code.
Humanity. Very good, Jyoti ma'am. Okay. Humanity, love, kindness.
Yes.
Right. And what is coming means duty is there on one side as a doctor, and on the other side we have the feelings as a human being, right? Humanitarian grounds, as we say.
Sense of responsibility.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Rumanaya.
So that is winning. That's the question. So we need to, make the questions easy for the students. When they are solving any sample question paper, this is CBSE, you might be solving many other question papers. First, you make the students understand the question. Make it easy for them. If we go into the question setting and how it is written here, it is difficult. You make them easy, break the question, the answer they will write by themselves. So here with textual evidence, you have to write that how the writer is incorporating all these traditional beliefs and influences into a good effect in the story. So the various incidents that is happening in the story, how the doctor helps the enemy, how he thinks of, doing the operation, how his wife also supported him, right? Even the general, he also supports him, right? So all these small evidences from the text you have to support along with the answer. I hope I'm clear and I'm able to reach out to you. Okay. Still, if you have any doubts, definitely you can ask end of the session. And the next question from class 12, again, you can see 2 chapters related. Characters of Sophie from Going Places and Subbu from Poets and Pancakes. You have to compare and contrast in terms of their aspirations, constraints, and the pursuit of their dreams. So, in Going Places, the main character is Sophie. Can anyone write that what Sophie wants to be? What was it that she was looking for in her life? What were her aspirations? And what was the aspiration of Subbu?
Sophie aspires to open a boutique.
Okay.
Again, an answer from Jyoti ma'am.
Jyoti ma'am is ready with her.
Asif to own a boutique, to start a boutique.
Okay.
Asif, Manimekalai. I've answered. Subbu inspires to be famous actor.
Yes, absolutely.
And that is also a message from Jyoti Kaushik. And
Yeah,
then
okay.
someone, I don't know who's this. And then manager of the boutique. She wants to.
Yeah, okay.
Asif.
So yes. So thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your support. So what they're doing in both the chapters, if you see Sophie and Subbu, they have their aspirations, they have their constraints also, right? Constraint means what? Limitations, challenges. Sophie was also having few challenges, Subbu was also having, but then they did not stop, right? They continued to pursue their dreams. So in between these 2 characters, there are some similarities as well as comparing and contrast characters as well, right? That one you have to write here, taking evidence from the chapter and bringing them to one particular answer, that is synthesizing. You have to write it in that way. If you do not know the chapter, if you do not know what Sophie wants in her life, what challenges she went through, if you're not thorough about the lesson, then it is difficult for the children to write the answer, right? So a lot of revision, reading the lessons, important, last minute. Moving on to the next question, it's a 2-marker question. Identify an instance of hope or resilience in Lost Spring and analyze how it reflects one of the story's themes. Right? So in Lost Spring, I request the participants, please write down what is the theme of this chapter. Very interesting chapter.
Lost Spring theme.
Yeah.
Ma'am is asking about the theme.
Theme, yes. And how it reflects one of the story's themes.
Miss Mallika, I think poetic device is left, no?
Yes, sir. After this.
So you have to speed up.
Yeah. Sure, sir. Sure.
Stolen childhood, losing bliss of enjoying childhood. The theme of social injustice.
Correct.
Poverty and exploitations. Aishwarya Suresh.
Yes, ma'am. All the answers are correct. Everyone is giving correct answers. But the question is, you have to identify an instance or an incident which is showing hope or resilience in this particular chapter, reflecting to the story's theme. So there are many incidents and characters. Again, here, Mukesh is one of the character. I know everybody knows his answer by now. And how they just reflecting the story's theme that you have given the answer. And the last one is you have to interpret the literal and the understanding which is there in the third level where he is moving into his imaginary world. So we will move on to the next part, the last part of the session, that is about the poetic devices. Let's quickly have a look into it. So what is what is poetry? Again, poetry is all about emotions. It's about your thought and how it is presented in the form of words. Right? So what are devices? Devices are something which makes the work easier. So the poets use these type of devices to make the poetries beautiful, understandable, to be remembered for a long period of time, and yes, obviously to reach out to more and more readers, right? So these are some of the techniques that the poets use to make the poetries beautiful. Another word for it is figure of speech, or we can say literary devices as well. If we talk about poetic devices, the general poetic devices that we get in CBSE is, simile, metaphor, personification, then we have antithesis, then we have onomatopoeia, right? Alliteration. So,
yeah, it shows the types of figures of speech, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. So these are the different types of poetic devices where we have, depending on the construction of the sentence or maybe resemblance or maybe how it is associated or contrasting, we have different sets of poetic devices which the poets use in their poetries. The next slide, I think it is visible here, simile and metaphor. Right. So in simple English, if I say simile is a comparison between two objects of different kinds with the words as, like, or so. Okay. So in simple English, I'm again telling simile, please take care of the spelling also, because most of the time I find the students writing wrong spellings. So it is S-I-M-I-L-E. It is not Y or I. So in simile, comparison between two objects of different types, but using the word like or as, means direct comparison is there. When we talk about metaphor, metaphor is an implied simile. Here also comparison is there between two objects, but here there is no direct comparison. So if I take the example, like the camel is a ship of the desert. So why the camel is a ship of the desert? Because the camel can easily walk on the desert like the ship sails smoothly on water. Okay, so indirect comparison is there between the camel and the ship. Right, so simile and metaphor, most of the poetries you will get in the syllabus, common one. Moving to the next slide with examples. You can see here, I've taken some funny examples here, like my dog is as smelly as dirty socks, and this pizza is as cold as ice. Direct comparison is there. You can see as word has been used. And if you see the metaphor here, the examples like the sun was a gleaming pearl. So sun here is compared to a shining pearl, right? It is not a pearl. So there's an indirect comparison. Similarly, another example you can take from the slide that the car seat is a fluffy cloud, means very soft. Right? The seat was very soft and comfortable, like a cloud, like the clouds, it looks like white and the shape of the cloud. Right? So metaphor means indirect comparison, comparing two different things, and indirectly it is compared, and simile is a direct comparison. Moving on to the next slide. Personification and apostrophe. Personification, when any inanimate objects are given human qualities or human characteristics. So usually we see verbs are given here. Yeah, verbs are there, like the lightning danced across the sea. So lightning is compared to a dancer, giving that particular attribute of dance Across the sea means the way it was there, the falling on the sea, it was looking as if the lightning is dancing. So personification means giving human qualities or human characteristics to non-living objects, right? Or non-human objects. So that is personification. And apostrophe is when we are addressing something which is absent or dead. It is also a special type of personification, right? When we are addressing something which is dead or which is not present with us. That is apostrophe. And personification means giving human qualities to inanimate objects. In the next slide, you'll see the examples, like examples of personification. The wind howled at night. So you can see here verb howl is given, and wind is also personified as if he is shouting and howling. So it's a stormy night. Traffic seemed to crawl. It means traffic is very slow compared to a snail, maybe. The book was so popular, it flew off the shelves. Means the book was so popular. Flew off means it was sold out immediately. Right? Time flies when you're having fun. It's when we are having a good time. The time we like, I don't know, now I'm having a very good time with all of you. So time is flying away and I have to catch it as early as possible. Flowers were begging for water, right? The flowers were begging for water means it has not rained for a long period of time. So you can see here, personification means giving human attributes, and apostrophe means something which is dead or something which is absent to you. It's a very funny example I've taken. Oh, lovely orange, you golden treat. Oh, tell me, why aren't you easy to eat? So I'm talking to that object, right? Orange. So it's a funny one, and this is also an apostrophe. I'm talking to that particular object. Moving to the next poetic device, that is hyperbole and antithesis. Hyperbole means when we exaggerate the thing. Means it is this much, but we are speaking in a larger way, right? We're exaggerating it, overemphasizing it. That is called hyperbole. Like I have told you a million times, most of the time the students get this statement from parents and teachers, right? I've told you so many times not to this, that, and that is hyperbole. And antithesis means when we are having two contrast words in the same sentence, right? Like speech is silver, but silence is golden. So I'm comparing speech to a statement with with silver, but silence is much more important compared to speech. Sometimes silence sorts out problem. Similarly, many other examples like love and hate, good and evil. We do use all these things in our daily life in the prose as well as poetry. This is called antithesis, means two opposite or contrast words are placed in a particular sentence, right? That is called hyperbole. Moving on to the next slide. Few examples are there for hyperbole here, right? Let me take one. Like that boy runs faster than a car. That means he is a super athlete, we can say, right? He cried so long that he made a lake. So it's a funny, we can say, we can exaggerate and we can make this poetic devices, as I said, makes any literary device or poetic device makes it look more interesting and interesting to read, right? Coming to the next one, that is onomatopoeia, which is a sound word reflecting the sound of the same object. So it is actually sound word, like water, splashes, right? Bells, ding dong, that is also onomatopoeia. Crash or pop or boom, this type of words, the words which are reflecting the sound of that particular object is called onomatopoeia. Please check out the spelling. Most of that rhyme, again I'm telling, the spellings are wrong for onomatopoeia. The pronunciation is also onomatopoeia. And this pronunciation is hyperbole. It is not hyperbole. It's a wrong pronunciation. Please make sure whenever you're telling it in the class, it is hyperbole. R remains silent. Okay. Moving on to the next slide. Oxymoron and transferred epithet. Oxymoron means it's a special type of antithesis, but two contradictory qualities are predicted side by side, that is juxtaposed. They're placed side by side. Okay, it's very, very interesting. Oxymoron is very interesting, right? Placed side by side, and most of the time we love to use oxymoron in our daily lives again, right? I'm busy doing nothing. This is a very common statement, but actually it is an oxymoron. Okay, known secret. You can see known and secret, both opposite words, but when it is used together, it becomes oxymoron and makes it interesting. Similarly, awfully nice, deafening silence. Sometimes it is too silent outside and we don't like it, right? So this is actually called oxymoron. And transferred epithet means a word or phrase that describes a person or a thing. Transferred means when it is associated with that object and passed on. Like when I say sleepless pillow, the sleepless here is not the pillow, right? The person who is staying awake. So that is associated or transferred, that quality is transferred to the pillow. That's why it is called transferred epithet, right? Merry hours, when we are enjoying maybe birthday parties or having a party, that hour is not merry. We are merry, we are happy, but we say merry hours. That means we are transferring our feelings into the word hour. Okay, or dreamless sleep, or unbreakfasted morning, or a fun day. I admit it was a fun day, right? So these type of qualities, when it is passed on, human qualities, then it is called transferring it, or called transferred epithet. Moving on to the next slide, alliteration, which is very commonly used, where the consonant sounds are repeated at the beginning of the words. Okay, consonant sounds, please be sure about it. Only consonant sounds. P, B, D, T, K, G. These are all, consonant sounds. If you get it consecutively 4 or 5 words repeated, then it creates a musical effect, right? That is called alliteration. And if the consonant sound is repeated anywhere in the particular line of any word, then it is consonance, okay? If it is in the beginning of the word only, then it is alliteration. But if it is anywhere in between the words, then it is consonance. Similarly, if the vowels are repeated, then it is called assonance, okay? And the next one is allusion. Allusion means indirect reference to any famous person, historical event, literary work, characters. That is called allusion. Means I compare this to some historical character. Usually smile is, whenever, beautiful smile we see, we compare it to Mona Lisa smile. So that is called allusion. Now here you see alliteration, few more examples I have kept here. You can take a screenshot of it as well, right? So that the cat curls upon the couch. So the k sound repeats. Okay. So I baked brownies for Ben's birthday. So the b sound repeats. And here you see the comparison is with Cleopatra. So allusion. Why shouldn't I compare thee to Cleopatra? So Cleopatra was a historical figure, right? So again, allusion. Next, we have anaphora. Anaphora is repetition of a particular word in the beginning of the sentence, not sound. Okay, not consonant sound, word. If the word is repeated 4 or 5 times in the same, in the beginning of the sentence of a particular line or poetry, then it is called anaphora. She didn't speak, she didn't stand, she didn't even look up. So you can see the she word repeats. The beginning word repeats successively in a particular line or a poetry. That is anaphora. And repetition spelling also, please be careful. Most of the time children write R-E-P-E-A-T-A. So it is not repetition, it is repetition, right? So repetition means a particular word or phrase constantly you can see getting repeated in a poetry. That is also creating a musical effect or emphasizes on the theme of the poetry. And lastly, we have imagery and assonance. Imagery, if the senses are appealed in a particular poetry, when you're reading it, you can imagine, you can visualize, you can hear the sound of maybe the leaves, or you can feel like touching something, you can have the taste of it. Or if the senses are there in terms of description of the senses, then it is called imagery, where we start imagining ourselves in that position. And assonance, I've already told you. So I'll move on to the next slide. Consonants also I have told you, where we see the consonant sound, anywhere it is repeated, beginning, middle, or end of a poetry, then it is consonants, because consonant is repeated. Okay, and the last one, which is very common in most of the poems we see in our syllabus, that is enjambment. Enjambment, where we do not have any punctuation or we do not have any break in between the lines. It continues to the second, third, fourth line, and then we get a full stop or a comma. Can anyone tell me one name of any poetry from class 12 or 10th where we have enjambment, where we start the poetry and it ends on the last line with a full stop? Please write in the chat box.
Fog, dust of snow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Most of them, Yasin, Headlit, Firadas, student, most of them have given the answers now.
Yeah, okay, so they know what is enjambment. From class 12, can anyone write the answer from class 12? Which one is having enjambment?
My mother at 66.
Absolutely, absolutely. Very, very important for your syllabus.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, ma'am. So all are actively listening. I mean, I'm privileged, right? I'm blessed. Everyone is actively answering. Okay, so irony usually we have in the plays or in the prose where it's a type of special speech where the real meaning is always the opposite of what we want to convey, literally, right? So this is one of the example taken from Julius Caesar, where we are telling Brutus is an honorable man. So are they all honorable men? We know that Brutus was not, right? He was a tyrant. So this is one of the quote which has been taken, which is an ironical statement. And the last one is rhyme scheme. The educators are requested to please practice rhyme scheme with the students. You know how to find a rhyme scheme. You need to find out the pronunciation of the last word in a line and check out that pronunciation is matching with which particular word and in which line. In that way, you can find out the rhyme scheme, and it is usually A, B, B, or it depends, A, B, C, B, as you can see here. And if it is not having any rhyme scheme, then what is it called? Can you please write the answer? No rhyme scheme is there, then what is it called?
Free verse.
Free
Blank.
verse. Yes, yes. Free verse or blank verse, we say.
Most of them
Right?
have answered, ma'am.
Yeah.
Active participant.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that, we have quickly gone through all the poetic devices, and these are some of the poetry, not all, few I have taken. Like I've taken Amanda from class 10. Few lines I have taken, like don't bite your nails, Amanda. It's an anaphora. Continuously, you can see it's repeating. Don't hunch your shoulders, Amanda. You can see both the lines start with the same word, don't. So it's an anaphora. Stop that slouching and sit up straight. It is alliteration. S sound repeats. Okay, Amanda word is continuously getting repeated in the poetry, so it is repetition. Okay, imagery, like emerald color, the color of the sea, we can imagine languid emerald sea, so imagery, right? Allusion, why? Because we are imagining a character. Mermaid is a character. So just now I told, we are imagining any character, any famous historical character, or maybe anything from the fantasy, then it is allusion. Right? And the rhyme scheme of this poem, I've already mentioned there. I know all of you know the answers. Still, I've mentioned it here. You can find out in practice once again. Right? Moving on to the next slide. The Animals by Walt Whitman. And here also, I think I could turn and live with animals. They are so placid and self-contained. Here, what is the poetic device? Personification. Okay. So who are personified here? Can you please answer? Who is being given human qualities? Just now we revised personification. Who is being given human qualities? Yeah?
Animals.
Animals. And what human qualities are given? What's the meaning of the word placid? Usually it is asked. So you can write the answer in the chat box.
Calm. They have given answer as participant given the answer as calm.
Yeah. So
Calm.
animals are given human qualities, a quality of a human being or a person. I stand and look at them long and long. In this same line, we have anaphora, we have repetition, we have alliteration as well. Right? So anaphora, why? Because all the lines here starts with I. And then repetition, why? Because here you can see two words are repeated, long. And why
Long.
alliteration? Can you tell me why is it alliteration? I've highlighted it the yellow color. I think it will be easy for you to answer. Why alliteration? Which sound is repeated? The sound?
L.
L. Yes. And this poem is written in blank verse. Yeah. It is written in blank verse. Next, A Tale of Custard the Dragon. This is a ballad. And Belinda was a brave as a barrel full of bears. Right? Alliteration. Very easy. And why is it simile? Because you can see the word as brave as a barrel written. Direct comparison. As brave as a barrel full of bears. So direct comparison, it's a simile. Right? And Ink and Blink chase lions down the stairs. Here, Ink and Blink, they are given human qualities. They are chasing. So personification. Mustard was as brave as a tiger in a rage. Simile. Now I know everybody has understood it. Alliteration again, but Custard cried for a nice safe cage. And here also the which sound is repeated. You can write the answer in the chat box immediately, okay, before I ask the question. Because right now I know you all have understood. Custard, the K sound repeats here, right? Rhyme scheme also. I have
They
shown
have good answers, ma'am. Jyoti ma'am, Narmata.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This class is for yours. This class is yours. A Thing of Beauty by John Keats. Many are waiting for class 12, I know. So here we have metaphor like bower quiet, sweet dreams, endless fountain of immortal drink. Here, all indirect comparison is there. Okay. Please take a screenshot of this slide if you want. Alliteration is also there. Noble nature, cooling covert, band to bind, imagery, where we start imagining flowery bands, shady boon, a tree with shade, clear rills. Rills mean small streams, daffodils in green world, as if daffodils are dancing. So that is the whole thing is imagery. Transferred epithet, gloomy days. The days are not gloomy. We feel sad. That's why we feel the day is gloomy. Day is same every day, right? Or unhealthy and over darkened ways. Oxymoron like mighty dead. So two opposite word placed side by side, juxtaposed. So many things are there in one particular poetry. You need to practice a lot with your students. Ask them to find out. Aunt Jennifer's Tiger, one of the most important poetry of your syllabus, where you have metaphor. Okay, then you have alliteration, bright topaz. That's a metaphor. Alliteration is there, finger fluttering, prancing, proud. Symbolism is definitely there. That massive weight of uncle's wedding band is a symbolism. It's symbolizing male domination. Tigers represent hidden desire of Aunt Jennifer. Personification is also there, like the word chivalric. Chivalric means brave, right? Usually it was used for the knights, but here it is used for the animals. So human characteristics are given. So very, very important again. Okay, hyperbole is also there in this poetry, where exaggeration is there. Massive weight of uncle's wedding band sits heavily upon Aunt Jennifer's hand. So here you can see exaggerating. Wedding band cannot be so heavy. What is heavy is the relationship, the marriage, right? Then transferred epithet, like terrified hands. Why is it terrified? The feeling is transferred to the hands, right? Terrified because Aunt Jennifer is scared. That's why her hands also look terrified. And enjambment, obviously, it is a continuation of sentence without a break. Like you can see, the massive weight of uncle's wedding band sits heavily upon Aunt Jennifer's hand. There is no punctuation. So that is again an enjambment, right? And now we come to the last part of the session. I know it's already 8:40. Right, my few tips, please invest reading time. Please read the question paper before you sit for the exams. Whichever questions you are attempting, choosing or selection of the questions, very important. 1 marker question, very important. There is no half marks over there. Okay, write neat and clear answers. Do not cut too many words and overwrite. Please follow the word limit. Okay, do not forget to revise before submitting and stay calm during the exams. 15 minutes, please utilize. You can, one more question, many of them ask that do we have to go section-wise ABC? You can change that also, but make sure that you are not, mixing up the questions. If you're starting section B, complete section B, then move to the next section C or A, whichever you want to. But you write 2 questions from B and then you add 2 questions from C. Don't do that. You'll be losing your marks, right? Choosing the question, very important. Attempt all the questions. Please don't leave and give proper spacing. Handwriting for English is important. Although I know that, but it should be legible. It should be the examiner should understand what you've written. Time management, complete the paper. Definitely important. Please complete the paper. Okay, be careful while reading. And again, I'm writing the same word, revise before submitting, right? And please, educators, focus on these words. These words are very, very important. Still, we have 3 months. Try to make the lessons, where the children are comprehending, interpreting, analyzing. Again, I'm repeating all this. They try to evaluate the chapter. They know the words, the meanings. They can create their own answers. They can imagine. They can extrapolate beyond the text and character sketches. Very important. And this is just one statement that maybe the answer is correct, but which is filled with lots of incorrect spellings, will take away the quality of the answer, right? So don't be entirely focused on the guidebooks. Please ask your students to read the textbook, follow the class notes, and follow your guidelines, because your guidelines, your suggestions are important to your student. You know your students better, right? And give equal importance to all the 3 study materials, right? So now I hope that you're confident and you're prepared to solve sample question paper. Start it today itself. You can start today itself. Please visit cbscacademic.nic.in. Search for question paper. MS marking scheme is given. Practice question papers are given. Additional questions are also given. And with this, I'm Malika Sen, signing off from the presentation. Thank you so much. Wishing you a happy Diwali.
Yes, ma'am.
And now, any questions?
Yes. Move on to the participants. Do you have any questions? So I'm sure your words of wisdom have added on the intellectual pursuits of all our esteemed participants. Participants, if you have any questions, please drop your questions over in the chat box. Initially, 3 of the people have asked the questions, ma'am. What exactly to be included in the resume? Wasif is asked in this chat box. What
Yeah.
exactly to be added in the resume?
Okay, in the resume, the name of the candidate, okay, the name of the father or guardian, whatever it is, date of birth should be there, address should be there. Okay, educational qualification should be put inside the box where serial number should be there, name of the exam, the board, okay, which year and percentage should be in a table format. If the candidate is experienced, then should the experience, how many years and where the candidate has worked. If not, then they can write, I'm a fresher, right? And references should be there. Okay, apart from that, your strength or hobbies, whatever you have, can be mentioned. And references in the last part of the CV should be there, 1 or 2 names along with phone numbers.
Okay, ma'am. The next participant question is, do they have to write heading for analytical paragraph?
No,
No.
no.
Okay. Fine. Please make note of it, audience. Ma'am, I've answered the no. And then one of the participants asking, like in for grade 10, is there any material is provided by the CBSE for using for testing the ASL, ma'am?
Yeah, it is there. I mean, directly CBSE is not there, but it is linked with, the BBC and British, this one. So I will share it with Salam, sir. Sir, can you please share to the participants later? There are many links which I use for ASL in the classroom.
Yeah,
Okay.
please.
Yeah. So I'll share it with Salam, sir. Sir will share with all of you. Which links
Anjusha
I
ma'am
use.
have raised the hand, sir. Anjusha K raised the hand, sir.
Yes. Yes, please, Anjusha ma'am. What's your question?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Is haiku important?
Come again, ma'am.
Sorry?
Is haiku poems important?
Haiku. Where?
Haiku is
Haiku.
important, she is asking.
That haiku means the Japanese form you're asking? I'm not understanding the question.
I do. Ma'am, will you please?
Are you talking about the Japanese way of writing poetry, that one? Hello, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Is haiku poems important? Sometimes, I think not last year, before last year, we got a question. A haiku poem was given and we want to explain about that.
No, ma'am. I don't think so. It's important. Okay. Still, I'll look into it. Your number I'll take and I'll get back to you on this particular question. Okay, because I think it is not so much important. Okay.
So one of the
Okay, ma'am.
participants asked the question, please need the explanation for notice.
Notice writing.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yes. So notice writing, what do you want? The format you want to know?
Just they have given need explanation for the notice.
Explanation, I mean, you have to write the name of the organization first, okay, on the top. That will be given in the question paper. Below it, you have to write the word notice in capitals, everything at the center of the page. Then you move to the left side of the page, you have to write the date. The date, usually we are not putting in a commas nowadays. So suppose today is 29th October, you can write 29 October 2024 without any commas. Then again, you move to the center of the page, write the heading. Suppose it is inter-school drama competition, inter-school basketball competition, that heading should be there. And few sentences you guide your students to start with. So 2, 3, what I do usually, like we give the phrases, the children are ready with it. It is to inform you, this is to inform you, okay, or it is hereby notified. So few phrases you give them, with that they will start, and then they will write 3 things very, very important in notice writing, DVT. Please remember this formula, DVT, that is date, venue, and time. Okay, should be there in the notice. Date, when the event is, venue, where is it, and time, at what time. Right, it should be there. And in case if it is having any last date of registration, then at the last you have to mention that please register within this date to this particular person, concerned person, maybe the head boy or the class teacher. After you finish, it should be within 50 words. Left hand side again, you please move. write the signature of the person, the authorized person, name, and the designation. So it can be the principal, it can be the vice principal, head boy, head girl, cultural secretary, whatever it is, that will be mentioned in the question paper, and the name is also mentioned in the question paper. Means you have to use that only if it is there in the question paper. If not, then fictional name you can use. Yes, ma'am.
That's it. Any other question, participants? Jyoti Kaushik, ma'am, please unmute.
Yes, ma'am. First of all, thank you, ma'am, for giving so many answers. Jyoti, ma'am.
Jyoti, ma'am, please unmute yourself.
Sir,
Yes.
can you hear me?
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am, my question is that our students, be it of class 10th or 12th, they make lots of errors in MCQs, analytical and analogy questions. And although whatever resources we can give, we provide them for practicing, but still, can you give any tips to strengthen those parts of the students?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'll try to. See, when I do in the class, when I take class 12, okay, I have to take 6 to 7 classes in a week. So, and I love to take. What suggestions I give to my students for MCQs? You always go for, like, science teachers tell them. Similarly, I also tell them, go for elimination process, ma'am. Right? Out of 4 questions, 2 will be there which will not be going with the question at all. So instead of wasting the time continuously in finding out all the 4 answers, which is correct, you ask your students first to go for the elimination. 2 options will be there, which is not correct or not going with the question. And the next 2 options, whatever is remaining, from there they have to find out the answer, and there where the child skills are there. The child has to analyze and interpret and find out the correct answer in case of MCQs. But again, practice is important, ma'am. Suddenly they will sit for the pre-boards or sit for the boards will not help. The more they practice and the more they get correct answers, that will build their confidence that yes, I can also do it. So I suggest to go for this process. You practice with them, ma'am, first in the class. First, they need practice with you. Okay, slowly.
Okay.
2-3 questions.
Thank
You
you
write
so
it
much,
on the
ma'am, for
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the valuable insight. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. My pleasure.
One more participants. Srivatsava, Firdas Srivatsava. Unmute yourself and speak, sir.
Yes, good evening, ma'am.
Good
Yes.
evening.
Ma'am, generally, in many schools, they teach the students that not to write the name at the end of the letter. Just write XYZ school and XYZ. How far is it correct, ma'am?
Yeah, it is always suggested not to write your name or your school's name. You should not write. Okay, we
Ma'am,
can go
but
for
if the name is given in the question, then they have to write that particular name,
that
no?
one only. Yes, ma'am. If it is there in the question paper, you have to use that input as it is given in the question paper. If not, you can go for XYZ also. No issues.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So shall we close the session? Yes. The one more person have raised the hand, ma'am. Oppo
Yes.
F7.
Yeah.
Unmute yourself, please. Please unmute yourself. Please unmute yourself and speak. What happened? Oppo F7 have raised the hand, but they can't able to.
If you want, you can write in the chat box.
Yes.
We can wind up now.
The muting.
Yes, go.
Yes, ma'am. So as we come to the today's end of the session, so optimizing the English language preparation to excel in 2025 board exams, I would like to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed resource person, Ms. Mallika Hussain, for sharing her valuable insights and practical strategies. Your expertise has truly equipped our teachers with the tools they need to guide students towards excellence in their English board exams. A special thanks to all the participants, teachers who are very interactive. You made the session as very more interactive and active in all the time, who took the time to engage in this workshop with enthusiasm and dedication. Dear participants, kindly note the link for the certificate and feedback in the chat box. As we already posted in the chat box, please make note of it. You are requested to fill up the form with all the necessary details. I, Malati Kartikeyan, along with the Extra Mile Education and Training and BTAG, would like to thank Ms. Millika Sen for sharing the great insights and the words of wisdom. I would like to thank Dr. Abdul Salam for his boundless support. Your support in promoting continuous professional development is invaluable to our shared mission of improving the education. Yes, it's end of the sessions. As we leave today, let's carry forward the insight we have gained and continue to survey for the excellence in our teaching methods. Together, we can make a significant difference in the students' journey to success in the 2025 board exams. Thank you all and wishing everyone the very best in your teaching endeavors. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, it was very well conducted. Thank you and congratulations, Miss Mallika, ma'am. You know what is special about?
Excuse me, sir. Some of the participants have raised the hand. We'll make them to hold it. Participant, please make a hold. Sir will, after the completion of speech, we will move. Yes, sir.
Yeah. What is special about Mallika, ma'am, is she can, conduct a very long session.
Sorry, sir.
So-
Every time it happens.
No,
That's the limit.
the energy, that much energy, the stuff, she was dealing with is very vast. I know that. And that is the very reason I approached ma'am and requested whether we can conduct a session because no other, resource person can do it at this length because, the content is so vast and it requires a lot of time and, to deal with all the aspects, but Madam has presented it very well. She has prepared very well, actually, and presented it very well. And it was very crystal clear. The presentation was very crystal clear, and it has helped a lot of teachers over here. Thank you so much, Mallika ma'am. May God bless you as always, and keep connected. Let us, enrich our teachers, teaching community, as well as student community. Thank you so much once again, and thank you, Malati ma'am, for the chemistry that you are working with Mallika ma'am, Mallika and Malati. Thank you
Yes,
so
sir.
much.
I was about to tell this. You told already.
Yeah, alliteration.
Yes,
Thank you so
two
much.
flowers are there, sir, this evening, right? Malati and Malika, two
Yeah,
flowers.
correct.
And your touch is there, so definitely session has to be excellent.
And we have to thank the participants for their patience and listening to us for 2 hours. Thank you so much. Let us keep connected. Definitely, we will be reaching out to you. We
Yes,
will
sir.
be sharing the ASL resource materials with all of you
Absolutely.
through the group once
Yes,
it is
sir.
given by Malika. Take care. Good night.
Yes, sir.
And greetings on the occasion. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Happy Diwali to all.
Happy Diwali to all. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.